By now, you've likely heard of ChatGPT, but what you may not know is that even if you're not tech savvy, it can make winning your VA claim a breeze by helping you create a bulletproof Nexus, as well as helping you find your next VA claim. But stay tuned, I'm going to show you how to use it to do just that. Now, if you want a step-by-step guide on how to put together a winning VA claim or appeal, go to www.valoanhacks.com/sign up. But for now, let's dig into it. One of the most underutilized tools by veterans is the secondary claim. Many veterans don't know that you can be service connected for a condition that's not a result of your military service, but rather a result of another service connected condition. So knowing that, how does AI help us? Well, we can use ChatGPT to get a list of conditions that can be caused by the condition we're currently service connected for. Then we can go through that list to see if we're suffering from any of those conditions as well. Now that may sound silly to you. You may be saying, hey, I don't need a list of conditions to know what's wrong with me. But I would argue that any medical condition you had before it was diagnosed by a doctor. And you likely did not know what you had until you were told you had it. By looking at a list of conditions and the symptoms that they cause, you may find one that describes you. Now let me show you how this works. It's really easy to do. First thing, we're going to go to chat.openai.com. So for this example, we're going to say that we are currently service connected for chronic sinusitis. I'm going to type into ChatGPT, show me a list of illnesses or medical conditions that can be directly caused by chronic sinusitis. As you can see, there's quite a few conditions that come up. Let's just go through a couple of them. Sinus infections, nasal polyps, asthma exacerbations, sinus headaches, even things as serious as meningitis. Now, personally, I did not know that asthma could be exacerbated by chronic sinusitis, but I'll tell you who did know, the VA, and they're not going to tell you. If you go to a CMP exam for chronic sinusitis, they're not going to ask you if you're also suffering from asthma, nasal polyps, or chronic fatigue. You have to know, you have to claim it. They're not going to help you. Now, if we instantly recognize one of these conditions as something we have, we're ready to move on to step 2. If we don't understand the conditions, we can always ask ChatGPT to explain the symptoms to us to see if that describes us. But in this case, let's say we already know we have really bad migraine headaches. The next thing we need is a diagnosis, but before we make a doctor's appointment, we're going to move on to step 2, the nexus. Every VA claim must have a nexus, and a nexus is simply a medical opinion of how your military service potentially led to you contracting a certain medical condition. But in the case of a secondary claim, a nexus helps establish how your current service-connected condition could have led to the medical condition that we are claiming. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT and I'm going to type in, explain in deep detail how chronic sinusitis causes headaches. Please include peer-reviewed medical sources and a list of those sources in APA format. Boom. And just like that, we have a nexus. Now, technically, an acceptable nexus letter must be written by a medical professional, but this is still super useful because not only am I going to use this information to help write my personal statement, but I'm also going to use this in step 3, which is make an appointment with your doctor. We're going to tell our doctor what condition we believe we're suffering with so we can get an official diagnosis. We're also going to ask the doctor to write us a nexus letter to hand over to the VA. And what are we going to give the doctor at that appointment? You guessed it, a copy of the AI-generated Nexus complete with peer-reviewed medical sources. We've essentially done most of the work for them. And in my opinion, you should hand carry your Nexus letter to your CMP exam and hand it to whomever is performing that exam on behalf of the VA. If your private doctor isn't willing to write a Nexus letter, no problem. You can reach out to me or you can look online for a private doctor that specializes in writing Nexus letters and doing disability benefits questionnaires for veterans. Getting the VA rating you deserve means additional income, which makes it easier to get the home you deserve. That's why I included a VA disability masterclass in my VA Loan Hacks course. Even if you never plan to purchase real estate, the class on structuring VA disability claims that win is worth the price of admission alone. So be sure to go to valoanhacks.com/sign up to get started. I'll see you there.